Today we're talking about Cronos The New Dawn. It's a good Dead Space-like game, mixed with some more true survival horror. That's as opposed to action horror in the gameplay. It's a pretty good game and probably one of the better games I played this year. But before we get into the rest of it, check this out. The demo for What Happens After Midnight, my action survival horror FPS, is available for free right now. You're sent to investigate the town of Night Vale and quickly discover interdimensional forces are invading our world. Hop between worlds, meet strange characters, and survive cosmic horrors once you find out what happens after midnight. So let's start with breaking down the gameplay. It has a good set of guns and good feeling shooting. The shooting is the part that reminds me of Dead Space the most. The way every hit feels super impactful, like you're punching someone with a gun. That being said, the fact that you have to charge shots to get actually decent damage is pretty poorly tutorialized. But once you realize that, it's good from then on. The game has good enemies and enemy variety. The only complaint I have is the way the enemies can rush you down really quickly. Feels slightly unfair. Also, there are some smaller sections with these guys that grab you with tentacles and lock you into animation, sort of similar to an enemy in the Callisto Protocol, but it's more fair than those enemies because you can hear them. But it's still annoying to have to walk around these small sections, looking around every corner to make sure they're not there. Moving on, there's also the merge mechanic where enemies can strengthen themselves with the corpses of other enemies. It's interesting at first, but it's not as impactful later on. You really just have to not let them wander off too long, and you'll be fine. There are okay bosses. The second to last boss is really bad, and the final boss is really good till the last phase where the boss's teleporting mechanic gets unfair. I think half the deaths I died in this game were from that last phase of the last boss. The puzzles aren't super complicated, but they do have a good tactile feeling to them. The resource availability is good. It keeps you right between too little and too well off. The upgrade system is good. Most of the upgrades are worthwhile, but it does come at the cost of the starting stats being kind of bad. I do get these things are hard to balance because it's usually either the player can dump all their stats into firepower and health because everything else is fine, or the player starts out with crappy stats so they have to invest in all the other stats. I hope someone figures that out someday. The structural level design is mostly good. It does a good job with the survival horror series of locks and keys sort of things. Although this is definitely the game where I've questioned it most. Like, the main character is in like this power suit and needs a key to get through like a wooden door. Anyway, there were a couple of sections that did drag on a bit too long, but other than that, the level design was good. One thing I want to add about general game design is that this game doesn't really care about gamers' tendencies to try to play optimally, even if it makes for a far worse experience. The YouTuber Nicky Jakey called it Goopy Goblin Gamer Brain. For example, there's like these refill stations that give you one flamethrower charge to burn the corpses. They'll give you them infinitely, but they'll only give you one at a time. So of course some people are going to go back and forth and burn everybody just to optimize, even though that'll take a while because of the way it's set up. The one that really got me was that sometimes there's these explosive barrels, but you can like rewind time in their spot and get the explosive barrel back. And like a lot of the times when they have you fight like a bigger enemy, there'll be one there. And so of course want to use the least amount of bullets possible, so they keep on rebuilding that over and over again, even though it takes a long time to recharge. It's not a horrible thing. It's just something that I think will probably annoy a lot of people. The game has a good story and world. It's very interesting. The characters are good. You really do care about them and what they have to say. I also like how the future people had this strange, extremely stoic / Shakespearean dialogue. It's really interesting. I like that the tone of the story is more out there.
Therefore, I am proud that they graciously allow me to care for them. Beautiful creatures. So sublime. Almost perfect.
But that being said, it does sort of sit in a weird middle ground tonally. I think it might put some people off. It's not quite as weird as something like a David Lynch type of story, but it's also significantly more out there than a regular story, and I think it might make it come off as kind of messy sometimes. The story themes about staying connected to others and trying to avoid cycles of violence are good. There are good aesthetics. They sort of feel like if Dead Space was a 80s dystopian future, something like that. There's good music, especially the save room music is real good. There were technical issues with some low frame rates sometimes in some areas, but it did seem to get better later on in the game. Maybe they got patched as I was playing through it, or maybe the earlier parts just have worse frame rates. Overall, it's a pretty good game with fun Dead Space / survival horror type of gameplay and a cool world and story. I'm giving it an 8.81. Thank you to anyone who likes, comments, and subscribes. That's it.